Hello and welcome to Growing Through It, your go-to podcast for real leadership stories. I'm your host, Jen Arnold. In every episode, you'll hear straight talk from leaders who face their own challenges. We'll dive into those whoops moments and the insights that followed. This podcast is about the lessons that refine us, shared to help you confidently lead in your own style. Whether you're looking to steer your team towards success or just seeking a spark of inspiration, you're in the right place. Let's grow through it together. My name is Jen Arnold, and I am your host. And some of you are returning listeners, and some of you are completely new. So let me catch you up. It's been a while since I ended season 1 of the Growing Through It podcast. In season 1, I really explored the individual side of resilience, and I decided that I was going to have seasons of the podcast. So when I ended it in the spring of 2023, I said, all right, this is the end of season 1. Let me go take a pause and figure it out what season 2 is going to look like. But I noticed that something wasn't drawing me back into restarting the podcast in the same way with the same context. So I took quite a few months off to feel excited about getting back on the podcast. And here I am, I'm back, but with a different twist than in season 1. Season 2 of Growing Through It is getting back to my roots, and that is organizational well-being. And you're probably hearing that word and thinking, oh, is this an exercise or nutrition challenge podcast? It is not. One of the areas that deeply impacts employee well-being is leadership. We've all probably been led by a not so stellar boss, and we probably all know how that makes us feel emotionally, mentally, and the impact on the other facets of our life. And I'm here as a former not so stellar boss to show you how difficult leadership can be. The truth is that you can read all the leadership books you want, but when you're in it, when you're in a leadership role and the stuff hits the fan, you have to navigate it, you have to recover, and you have to find your way out of it to successfully lead your team. So in this season, season 2, and for the future, the Growing Through It podcast will be dedicated to exploring the stories of leadership that didn't go so well, the missteps, the mishaps that no one actually wants to share. And I originally thought about bringing on leadership experts and to say all the advice we can give the leaders out there, the managers in the trenches. And I said, okay, we've heard enough from them. You can go find probably 50 podcasts from leadership experts. And I decided I want to hear from real leaders in real organizations. They're going to tell their stories on how they navigated the mess ups, how they recovered, and really how it shaped their leadership journey. Because no matter where you are in your stage of leading, it's a constant evolution. I know my leadership was trial by fire. I will definitely share my own leadership fumbles. And believe me, there were many along the way. I'm not going to bore you with them now, but I've had plenty of stories to share over the course of our time together. But when I had the idea for this podcast, I was like, of course, everyone wants to share their dirty secrets, but finding real leaders, so aka not consultants, not speakers, not authors, but finding real leaders to share their mistakes wasn't easy. So I wanted to find those stories, again, that we like to keep tucked away. And what I've realized is that the humble, vulnerable, and growth-minded leaders, they are the ones who are willing to expose when things don't go right and how they course corrected. So what can you expect this season and beyond? I am going to publish every other week a leadership story of, again, mistakes, things that didn't go right, things that really just may blindside you. They're also going to tell how they actually navigated that mishap or kind of things that were just thrown their way that they had to figure out how to continue to lead in that organization or maybe beyond. and ultimately how they grew into better leaders. Now, if you sign up for our Growing Through It newsletter, twice a month you'll receive a podcast summary along with an actionable leadership tip or 2 or 3 directly in your email box. You can sign up by going to growsignals.co, and I, of course, will link that up in the show notes and the description for today's episode. So that's it for today. I just wanted to give you a preview of what season 2 is going to look like. And I really hope you find this new season helpful and inspiring. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on Growing Through It. I'm Jen Arnold, and it's been a pleasure sharing this time with you. If today's story sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to our podcast, leave a review, and share it with your fellow leaders. And remember, each episode comes with a nugget of wisdom that we expand on in our newsletter. So if you're eager to put these insights into action, head over to our website at growsignals.co and sign up for exclusive content that'll give you an edge in your leadership journey. Keep growing, and I'll connect with you again soon in our next episode. Until then, take the lessons learned and lead authentically.